So you're thinking of moving from Texas to Oklahoma. My name is Kinsley Hauser, and I'm a local realtor here in Edmond, Oklahoma and its surrounding areas. Whether you're thinking about moving in 10 days or 10 months, I'd love to be able to connect with you and potentially help you on your move. I love getting to help people every single day and helping them find their dream home. So please feel free to reach out to me. You can give me a call, text, email, you can send me a DM or schedule a Google Meet so that we can get connected and I can potentially help you on your move. So in this video, I want to talk to you about moving from Texas to Oklahoma. If you do some research, I think more people are moving to Oklahoma from Texas than maybe any other state. Obviously, it's really close. There's things about Texas that maybe for some people are just getting a little bit old, but that's not always the case. So in this video, I want to tell you reasons why people are moving to Oklahoma from Texas, but also maybe some reasons why people choose to stay in Texas. Number one is probably one of the bigger reasons is just the lower cost of living. This includes housing, groceries, utilities even. I find that as you're looking at housing, it seems like in Texas overall, so what you can get for your money, still obviously great. I think Texas is one of those places where you can still get a lot of bang for your buck. However, I feel like in Oklahoma, maybe even a little bit more so, just a little bit more affordable housing options. And so that's one of the reasons that I think people are moving from Texas to Oklahoma. The second one has to do with taxes. Texas tends to have higher property taxes, which I'll get into another caveat of that later in the video. But with having higher property taxes, that might be one pro of Oklahoma tending to have a little bit lower property taxes. Number three is less crowds, less traffic, shorter commute times. I feel like Texas, and especially some of those really major cities around that area, the traffic is just crazy. And so as you're looking at commuting to work, as you're looking at just kind of running your daily errands, there seem to be a lot shorter commutes here in Oklahoma than people are finding in Texas, especially again, if you live in some of those bigger areas. Number four is milder summers. And I will say that it's still really hot in Oklahoma. I would say overall, still, again, very, very hot. But in comparison, they're gonna be slightly more mild here in Oklahoma than they would be in Texas. And with that, I think you're gonna see more changes of the seasons. It's gonna get colder in the winter. Again, maybe not quite as hot in the summer as Texas gets. But overall, weather, you have its own other challenges with some other things I'll talk about later. But as far as heat and seasons, I think Oklahoma has milder summers and again, more of those seasons that you can see. And then number five is a slower pace of life. A lot of people say when they move to Oklahoma, they feel like their life tends to just slow down a little bit. There's not as much hustle and bustle and again, traffic and people and things to do and things to see. And Oklahoma has, again, depending on your lifestyle, you still might live in Oklahoma and have a very fast-paced life. But people, I think, tend to find that living in Oklahoma makes it easier to have more of a slow-paced life and not just be all rushed all the time. And so now that I've talked about 5 reasons people might want to move, I want to talk about 5 reasons why people might choose to stay in Texas, because there are definitely some pros to Texas that Oklahoma doesn't have. So the first thing on the list would be just more job opportunities and the business climate. Texas is a large state, it has a lot going for it, and so I would say overall there's definitely going to be more opportunities for jobs. Doesn't mean Oklahoma doesn't have them, but as we're comparing, Texas is probably going to have more and different types of jobs versus probably Oklahoma as a whole. And the second one relates back to taxes, like I mentioned. So while property taxes might be cheaper in Oklahoma, Texas does not have a state income tax. And so depending on your business, depending on what you do, a lot of factors, that might be a big reason why you choose to stay in Texas is because of no state income tax. As someone who just had to write a check to the Oklahoma state for their income taxes, sometimes I'm envious of that because that would be pretty nice. Number 3 is just the fact that Texas does have bigger cities, more entertainment, more things to do. Things in Oklahoma, like if you want to go to IKEA, you're going to have to drive to Dallas. You're going to have to drive to Texas. There's obviously bigger things. Just with bigger cities, you have more to do. But again, some people, they want to get away from that. But when you're looking at it as a whole, Texas is going to have more of those things to do and more entertainment, etc. Because of how much bigger those cities and the state as a whole is. Number 4, while some people like the change of seasons, they like colder winters, some people don't. And so Texas has warmer winters. And so if you are not wanting some of those really cold temperatures that Oklahoma can have, Texas might be better because those winters are typically going to be milder and typically are not going to be as cold as they might be in Oklahoma. And then number 5, and this could be kind of different depending on where you live in Texas, but Texas does have access to beaches. Obviously, its southern border is down there at some water, and so you do have access to beaches. Of course, if you live at northern Texas, you're still driving, 7 hours maybe to get to a beach. However, the state as a whole does have access to beaches, whereas Oklahoma, it doesn't. And so there are just some reasons why you might want to move to Oklahoma from Texas, or you might just choose to stay where you're at. I love living in Oklahoma. I love where we live here in Edmond. I think a lot of people enjoy the move once they make it, but again, it's not for everybody. So if you are thinking about moving and you just want to talk through some of those things, if you just want to get a perspective from somebody who lives here and has moved here, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'd love to be able to just help you on your move if you do decide to make it. And thank you so much for watching to the end of this video, and I will catch you in my next one.